Broken on the ground, Kaido Uka is surrounded by the traitors he once trusted. As they claim they're purifying evil for God, he realizes his faith was a fatal mistake. Despair fuels a single vow: vengeance. Assassin, king, mage, or villager, he's killing them all. Every last one. He'll butcher them with pure cruelty, carving a pain so deep they'll feel it even in their next lives. Life fades as a red-haired girl appears, asking where it went wrong. His body's failing, but he manages a guttural groan as he looks up. Jake taunts Kaido for refusing to die. Kaido glares, erupting into a maniacal laugh. With his final breath, he vows to kill them all as he dies. Tutorial over the system tries to strip his gear and level, but his new holy sword of vengeance blocks the wipe. Instead, it seals his power behind an XP lock and resets him to 0. He wakes not in death, but in a familiar past, sitting before a smiling girl who welcomes him as the brave hero. Before she can speak, future rage drives his fist into her face, sending her reeling as the guards panic. He drops to one knee, hand trembling in pain. The princess mocks his weak strike, asking why he didn't even strengthen his fist. Stunned, he demands she repeat that. He stands, clutching his blazer as the truth hits. These are the clothes he arrived in. He clenches his fist, reeling. How is he alive when he should be dead? He scans the hall. The capital's summoning chamber. Teleportation is impossible, so this must be a final vision before death. Reality hits him through his aching fist and pure, killing intent. He narrows his eyes as a guard charges, sword drawn. The guard lunges, slamming his pommel into the boy's head with a sickening crunch, sending him reeling as the princess watches in horror. He froze. Why was the guard's neck still intact? That strike was meant to kill, but the man lay there gasping in shock. The guard blocked the strike, wondering if his ally used spirit enhance, but he sensed 0 mana. A guard rushes to Lauren's side as Kaido's mind reels his lethal strike failed to kill. Surrounded, the princess and her guards eye him warily, asking the brave hero why he finds her so unpleasant. Her question sparks instant rage. Snarling with contempt, he shocks the princess, spitting her name, Elysia, and demanding to know if she's really that foolish. Rage leaves him open. A guard's strike sends him crashing. Coughing blood, he burns with hate for the traitor princess. Everything about her makes him sick. Looking down coldly, she says it's not betrayal because they were never allies, then twists the knife by reminding him he's the one who said otherworlders aren't even. She grins down, mocking him, but Kaido finally sees the truth. He was the fool for trusting her, and now her pure malice is undeniable. Realization hits as she stomps his head down, dream or death. He knows exactly how long his bonus time lasts. She sneers, calling him a shameless princess. He snaps his head up, eyes wild with terrifying glee. Through the chaos, one goal burns revenge. Fueled by new resolve, he bolts up and lunges, grabbing a fistful of Elysia's hair and yanking her back as she screams. He pulls her close, grinning as she chokes and begs. He asks why he should stop, then vows to torment Elysia forever. He repeatedly slams her head into the stone. Royal guards rush in as Lauren screams for him to stop. Lauren grabs him, but Kaido keeps swinging with a bloody, ecstatic grin as Elysia's screams echo with every hit. With a bloody grin, he declares his intent. Quick deaths are a waste. He doesn't want murder. He wants revenge. Laughing like a maniac, he slaughters the royal guards, leaving a trail of broken bodies. He wants to stop until they feel his despair. The laughter dies, leaving the princess gasping. Pain spikes in his head, and he stumbles back from the carnage as his rage finally cools. Princess Elysia gasps for air on the cold stone, fighting to stay alive. Surrounded by corpses, his hand glows with the jade-green crystal blade, a mana-powered healing tool. But a dark thought strikes use this healing blade to stab her to death. He remembered dying by that immortal killing sword, but he's back. Forget the past. It's time to check his stats. He focuses, and a mysterious symbol flashes in his eye. He's baffled. He's never seen this before. He clutches his head in confusion and commands his status to open. The screen flickers on, showing an impossible profile. Yuki Kaito, 17, level 1. His stats are absolute trash. He stares in shock. What happened? His mind reels. Impossible. He should be level 321 years old, not 17. Nothing adds up. He scans the list, finding only his basic skills, spirit, sword, and fist strike. Launched into the air, he stomps down to create a platform from nothing. He's unlocked. Airwalk and immediately checks his status for answers. Skill unlocked. Airwalk level 1. Proficiency 1 out of 10,000. He can now create footholds on thin air. Confirmed. The skill's unlocked, but with mana at 297, he scoffs. Slow cast, high cost at level 1, it's total trash. Staring at his status, he realizes it's the immortal killing sword's curse. With power this broken, they never needed a hero. The war would have ended instantly. Horror strikes as his fears are confirmed. He's stuck with basic white skills like Jade Green, Crystal Blade, and Fire Spider's Leg. Reality hits. Skills reset to level 1. Even his spirit sword, 4 years of grinding, is locked. He's livid. Reeling from the loss, he catches a faint rustle the hem of Princess Elysia's dress. Tisking in annoyance, he spins and kicks on instinct, sensing her spell and expecting a sneak attack. The hit sends Elysia reeling, her face warping into a monster. Kaido smirks, revealing he only healed her for this, then calls the beast a pitiful woman. Looming over her, he coldly says she brought this on herself. He stood exhausted, face caked in battle grime. A translucent status window pops up for Yuki Kaito, notification icon and all. He stares in shock, wondering what he's seeing. Surrounded by dead allies in a blood-soaked room, Yuki Kaito stands cold and resolute. No one can stop him now. A translucent status window with a male icon pops up, leaving him stunned as he grinds his heel into a dead blonde S-skull. He taps the mail, reads the message, and a wave of warmth hits him as a faint smile creeps onto his face. Reading this means he died young and has been sent back to the moment of his first summoning. He's stunned. The message reveals that everything he's faced so far was just the tutorial. Humans are being sent to other worlds, and even the Earth Goddess can control their destination. Explanations failed and people died, so they built this seeing is believing system, the ultimate cheat. Clear the tutorial and restart with your skills, and XP returned, minus a penalty for the time elapsed. His goddess reveals herself, warning that other worlds are deadlier than Earth, but she still wants him to find happiness. Overstaying the tutorial reset him to level 1. It's a broken cheat, but he's rolling with it. Silence breaks as his chuckle explodes into a maniacal laugh. He's done questioning this second chance. Laughter dies, replaced by a lethal stare. This is real. With no time limit, he can finally fulfill his oath to torture and kill them all. He grins wickedly, fist clenched. He could end them now, but murder isn't satisfying enough. Death is too kind for her. He wanted to kill her quickly, and he's never letting her go. He'll make them feel every bit of it before sending them to the afterlife. He heals the disfigured princess to deliver his message, triggering his jade green crystal blade skill with a flash of green light. Light fades, her face restored. Gasping in terror, she looks up and stammers a request. Is she really? He laughs. Her reaction was perfect. Crouching, he warns her to stay terrified. Breaking her would be boring. She's frozen in shock. Shock turns to fury. She screams, calling him a lunatic and demanding answers. Why is he doing this? What did she do to deserve it? She forgot, but he remembers every scar. He hasn't forgotten the betrayal, the lies, or the pain of being played for a fool. His eyes harden with a cruel smirk as he touches his face. He remembers everything. Princess Elysia Auroria. He grinned, green crystal in hand, and brought up his request. Elysia stared back, frozen in terror and exhaustion. He fakes sadness, claiming he wanted to force her but warns it'd be a shame to refuse after he bothered to heal her. He suddenly shoves her to the floor. Elysia screams in shock, demanding answers. She screams as he grabs her leg, but he stops, viewing her body as a mere obstacle. Flustered, he mutters about how bizarre the situation feels. He once found her beautiful, but now he felt empty. Looking down, He felt nothing at all. Elysia glares from the floor with contempt, remembering when seeing him change used to make her heart race. Her resolve hardens. She brands otherworlders as savages who force themselves on women. Kaido recoils in disgust, blindsided by the wild accusation. He looms over the princess in disgust, scoffing that he'd never touch someone so vile. Since she won to listen, he'll write a letter instead. Elysia. He presses the glowing blade to her face with a sadistic grin. Since she won to listen, he'll write the message himself. The searing blade chars the floor as he aims for her thigh, warning her to stay still, or he'll ruin his penmanship. Her pleas turn to screams as he jams the fiery blade into her leg. Flesh burns as he hums, blushing. Elysia screams louder, begging him to stop. Her screams trigger a memory of her begging amidst corpses. Kaido laughs maniacally, mocking her. No one's coming. He gloats, using his power to hold everything down, just like. He leans in with a smug grin, saying his letter is only half finished and ordering her to stay put. He's done, the message seared into Elysia's flesh. He stretches, swaying from exhaustion as the princess's leg twitches. Drunk on his own mana for the first time in ages, he summons his status screen to check his power. Healing Elysia while carving his letter tanked his MP. He can handle the spirit sword like this. He needs to level up fast. He glances at the princess. 500 knights guard the castle. Staying is impossible. He has to leave now. He turns to leave, but she's still spitting venom. How is she still this hostile? After that beating, she should be numb. Teeth clenched and eyes defiant, Elysia declares this is just her duty as a princess. Her threat is a promise. She warns this cocky outworlder he's overstepping, and his death won't be easy. Elysia's eyes burned with hate. She'd kill him, but only after he suffered the same humiliation and pain he dealt her. Her defiance only amuses him. He grins wickedly, savoring her look and mocking her name with fake praise. He finally got it. If she begs for mercy and cries at his feet, he might save her. Even a barbarian hero is useful if she swears total loyalty. He mocked her big talk and offered a deal. Keep playing the hero for the city. She wasn't broken yet. Gritting her teeth, she spat that his offer still wasn't enough. Her refusal snaps him. Bloodlust takes over, and he realizes simple revenge isn't enough. He needs to break them before they die. Killing them one by one is slow, but that just means the game lasts longer. The bloodlust fades. Crouching over Elysia's broken body, he curses his own naivety. How was he so blind? He turns to leave, but one thought still lingers. Bored, he tells the bound princess, no help is coming. He reveals the secret barriers hiding the hero summoning, shocking her. He mocks her disbelief, confirming he wasn't lying. She demands his source, but he just grabs a candlestick and stands. He's heard this before, and he's in no rush. The candlestick's a hidden lever. One pull, and a heavy thud echoes. The floor rumbles open to a dark passage. Elysia's stunned. How does he know? He just says he's been here before. Cloaked at the stairs, he realizes he forgot to silence the victims. Suddenly, a guard spots him and charges. The fight ends instantly. Kaido looms over the bleeding guard with a fiery spider leg blade, mocking his recklessness while wondering if he has enough mana to crush a throat with this new. Blade still blazing, he coldly mutters, next over the fallen guard, already hunting his next target. He pins his final target, Princess Elysia, to the ground looming over her. He spots the Yucarino royal necklace and claims it to fund his revenge. Crouching down, he kept it casual, saying he didn't expect to meet again and telling her to ask anything. Straining from the ground, Elysia asks for his name. Amused and annoyed, he scoffs at her asking for his name. Is she joking? He already wrote everything in the letter he left. Smirking, he leans in with a choice, just call him the second chance Avenger. Decoration finished, he turns and walks away, steps echoing through the empty passage. He stops dead, face turning beet red as his confidence flips to total embarrassment. Crouched in the rocks, he clutches his head in shame. His grand speech backfired instantly, and now he's groaning over his cringe new title, wishing he could take it all back. Reborn for revenge, the hero stalks through the forest, stepping from the shadows into the light. He stretches, a satisfied grin confirming his new reality. Overlooking the town, he throws his arms wide and roars to the sky, declaring his freedom. 3 months since his fugitive past, the sun feels incredible. He's got 1 day before Elysia tracks him down a tiny window to make his move. He steels himself, knowing he lacks the power and preparation to get his revenge. Nearby, the town is buzzing. A light-haired man promises his blonde friend a fresh recommendation as the crowd moves past. He walks the streets, watching the crowd. They aren't his priority. Despite being brainwashed by the kingdom and church, he has no urge to kill. He just wants them to be happy. The slums reeked exactly as expected. Empty-eyed locals watched him pass as he hunted for his target. Thugs block his path. A punk in a headband mocks his weird clothes. A bald guy sneers. It's his unlucky day, and a third demands a toll to pass the closed road. Kaido stays silent, ignoring their threats. This pisses them off. One yells if he's deaf, while a guy in a cap lunges forward. Kaido sighs. At least this cliché makes things simple. A sickening crack stops the thug cold. Kaido slams him face down, pinning his back to the dirt underfoot as he writhes in agony. Ignoring the man beneath him, Kaido checks his status. He pulled it off, but the basement nerfed his old skills. In exchange, he's gained night vision, local language, and mana. Confusion turns to terror as Kaido strikes. With a flick of his fingers, a man screams in shameful agony. Kaido watches coldly. They aren't his real targets, and he's already bored. With the men writhing, Kaido explains his brutal logic, stabbing their legs, saves mana, keeps his clothes clean, and prevents a quick death. Wishing he'd thought of it sooner. Sprinting across rooftops, a hooded man lets his pursuer lead him straight to the Four Eyes bastard's hideout. He drops into a narrow alley, scrambling to escape as he realizes he's in deep trouble. He hits a dead end at a massive door guarded by gargoyles. As he gasps for air, one statue speaks, demanding the password. Panting and sweating, he mutters the password. Trash heap's spare key. The gargoyle lets him pass. Jack bursts in, demanding the boss, but Jake calmly asks why the rush. Jack insists it's urgent. Is the kingdom in danger, or are knights on the way? A voice calls from the next office. Jack identifies himself, and his boss tells him to enter. Jack enters to find his boss buried in paperwork. The boss asks if he can keep working, and Jack stands at attention, saying it's no problem. Unfazed, the boss ignores Jack's frantic report. The hooded man tries to flee, but his boss orders him to sit. This is gonna take a while. He looks up with a smirk, noting Jack got sloppy. The hooded man stares back, sweating and totally baffled by the comic. Suddenly, the reinforced door is kicked off its hinges and crashes into the room. Kaido stands in the ruined doorway, casually holding a severed head. He mocks their security, explaining he kicked the door down while his hands were busy with bad dogs outside. He glares at the man behind the desk. "Are you the boss of this slum?" Unfazed, the monocled Juff Fane Gull reveals he runs the slums and dismisses Jack. Jack retreats, thanking Kaido for the lead. Jeff's face hardens as he glares at the intruder, demanding to know why he didn't listen. Kaido offers help with a smirk, but the boy glares back, gripping his spiked bracelet. The price for his name, 50 gold coins paid in advance. He flashes the bracelet, demanding Jeff's top offer. Hooked, the manager asks for a closer look before bidding. Jeff Fane inspects the rattling object while Kaido watches Jeff. Isn't he a target for revenge? He's not a friend or a foe, just a tool for mutual gain. Jeff Fane inspected the accessory and saw its true power. Every stone held first-class magic, making the whole piece glow. He offers 30 gold for the masterpiece, warning Kaido no games. Things are serious now. He insisted Kaido profit from the item and quit making the deal so difficult. Kaido's face went cold as he issued a final warning: push any further, and Jeff Fane is a dead man. He knows info on the slum manager will be costly, but Jeff Fane Gull just smiles and apologizes for his rudeness. The manager offers 350 gold part now, the rest tomorrow, letting Kaido keep the necklace as collateral. Kaido asks if he's worried about him running, but Jeff shrugs it off. That kind of money is pocket change. Smiling, he says, if Kaido runs, his judgment was flawed. He hands over a coin pouch, and Kaido eagerly takes the pay. He skips the cash, flicking a single coin back to the confused manager. Kaido smirks, asking the price on his head and mocking the manager for selling his judgment for a measly 50 gold. Kaido waves him off. The deal is dead. Jeff chuckles as he leaves, watching a spectral creature crawl out of the coin on his desk. In the slums, life is never boring. Back in his room, an exhausted Kaido checks his status. He's crushed thugs and gargoyles, so why is he still stuck at level 1? He face-palms at the screen, begging the Earth Goddess as he remembers the penalty for missing the deadline. Then reality hits, and his eyes widen in panic. His status shows a massive negative 20,000 XP. How's the debt this huge? With his spirit sword sealed, he's forced to drop 3,000 points just to unlock it. Unlocking vengeance is brutal. Face 10 traitors, swear revenge, and survive massive damage from them. This power lets him sense pure malice instantly. Forget the XP, it's time to prep. He needs gear to escape town, and one item on his list is a must-buy tomorrow no matter what. He spots a magic hook blade and an MP potion. The blade rewrites magic with mana, and his target is a nearby beaded necklace. He sighs at the necklace, gutted he'll miss the princess's reaction. He just hopes that four-eyed loser snaps a photo. A shadow figure laughs, dying to see the royal's reaction. Kido smirks with the necklace. Looks like he needs his nerdy partner's help again. Humming in his room, he finally finishes the delicate necklace. Pure satisfaction. He hums louder, admiring his handiwork. He leaps up, project complete. But a furious shout from next door kills the vibe. Startled and red-faced, he apologizes, realizing he'd totally forgotten the other guests. The neighbor keeps screaming, calling him a deaf embarrassment as Kaido kneels, crushed by his own mistake. Chaos over, he hits the bed. Adrenaline crashes into pure exhaustion, time to pass out. Peeking out, he spots stone gargoyles guarding a reinforced door. Then it hits him. He overslept. He gears up and hits the checkpoint, but blanks on the code. Annoyed, he realizes they've beefed up security. A horned gargoyle guards the door but lets him pass instantly. Someone tipped them off. He bursts in, startling 3 men who scramble to their feet, ready to fight. He descends the stairs, telling the guards they live if they don't attack below. A man drops the promised 340 gold. The man hands over the necklace and thanks him. Kaido offers to let him count the gold, but he refuses, trusting someone of Kaido's status wouldn't pull petty tricks. He grabs the necklace, eyes widening as he studies the detailed diamond pendant. Kaido drops 20 extra gold for the trouble, but he's got one more favor. The man ignores the gold, demanding to know how Kaido upgraded the item overnight. Kaido calls it a secret and forces a choice. Is he in or out? Kaido's request was simple. Another home monkey, identical to yesterday's, to spy on everything inside the castle. Monocle Man demands 80 gold for the risk, but Kaido counters with 30, telling him to prove his worth. He scoffs at the low offer, demanding 70 for the high risk. Kaido counters with 50, calling it an easy job and reminding him he's spied on nobles before. Targeting royalty is way deadlier than nobles. Watching the sky clear, he drops his final offer, 60 gold coins. Price set, he pulls out the prying-ass receiver vial. Deal's done. He giggles, telling Kaido not to expect any thanks, while Kaido just glares in silence. Still curious, the man faked sadness, asking how Kaido produced the item. Kaido shut him down, corporate secret. The man invited him back, but Kaido sighed, hoping. Kaido stalks off, cursing the four-eyed bastard. He's sure the deal is set. The princess is naive. She'll wear that enchanted item without even checking it. He chuckles with a twisted grin, praying his plan goes perfectly. He stalks through the alley, arms wide, shouting that living for revenge feels incredible. He halts his victory walk, eyes locking onto a building with a cracked, weathered door. He knew it instantly. A bell chimes as he enters. The man behind the counter looks up and greets him. The slave trader asks if Kaido's buying, and he confirms, glad they're alone. When asked for a budget, Kaido drops a massive 10 gold coin price tag. Annoyed by the trader's doubt, Kaido flashes a bag of gold. The man's skepticism flips to instant greed, and Kaido cynically watches the fake respect as he's led inside. Kaido follows the trader past iron cells. Desperate moans fill the air, but he stays cold. It's all part of the plan. Kaido eyes a broken prisoner, planning to use him as cover to level up before paying him and setting him free. The traitor pitches his strongest stock, and Kaido agrees they're self-sufficient, and this is strictly business. He ignores the cells, eyes locking onto a lone figure at the end of the hall. Inside, a girl kneels in chains, gagged and anchored by an iron ball, but even through the blood and rags, her eye burns with defiance. Kaido asks about a caged bunny girl, but the traitor warns she's too wild to tame, meant for a noble. Her hostile attitude means she's being disposed of soon. Kaido picks his target, shocking the traitor who questions his choice of a beastman. Kaido doesn't care. Resigned, she agrees, but first they must register his master crest. Registration begins. The traitor explains the crest mana equals pain and absolute control. Kaido signs, a glowing sigil searing into his hand. Final step, press the mana-charged mark to the slave. Sigil marked, Kaido reaches the cell. Inside, a girl hangs by her wrists, exhausted. He grips the bars and swings the door open. She enters the dark cell to find a bruised woman chained to a heavy iron ball. Kaido kneels by the wheezing captive, gently brushing her hair. She lifts her chin, brushing back her hair as a single tear falls. He gazes back, realizing her eyes are just as beautiful as he imagined. She triggers the crest, shocking the chains. The Beastman girl seizes in pain, calling him a filthy human and warning him he's just like the rest. Pain fades. She gasps and shakes, her spirit crushed by the sheer force. Stone-faced, he tells her to play nice before glaring and asking point-blank who does she want to kill. Daniel drops to her level, voice low and steady. He demands to know who is her target for revenge. In a snowy forest, two girls come up empty. Shorthair apologizes to Minaris. They found no food. Henry reassures her friend that the forest trip for Carol's birthday was her idea, but panic hits as she realizes they've wandered way too deep. Her friend gasps and points ahead. Spooked, Minaris agrees to retreat. The search was a bust anyway. Fear turns to relief as she spots a fruit tree. The search wasn't in vain, but Minaris freezes, staring in terror at something lurking nearby. She spotted a lone gray creature devouring fruit, a goblin. Lucia screams in terror, but Minaris IDs the beast a brutal ice goblin. She orders Lucia to stay calm and retreat slowly before they're spotted. Hope's dead. The goblin turns with a sick grin, licking its lips. It found them. The beast lunges. Lucia trips, watching helplessly as death closes in. She screams, refusing to die, as a memory flashes a rabbit-eared woman calling for Minaris. Flashback, young Minaris learns illusion magic to hide her rabbit ears. Her mother warns that being a beastman is a forbidden secret, forcing her to promise never to use her powers. Promise broken, Minaris lunges, blasting the goblin into a tree with a massive kick and saving Lucia. She exhales in relief as the defeated ice goblin flees into the woods. Relief fades instantly. She sprints to Lucia, frantically checking for injuries, but the dazed girl just stares up and whispers her name. Minaris follows her gaze and grabs her head. Her rabbit ears are out. Panicked, she stammers, unable to explain the secret to Lucia. Bowing in apology, she desperately begged Lucia to keep her true nature a secret. Lucia agreed, and Minaris breathed easy. Once she stood, the forest nightmare faded, replaced by thoughts of a quiet village. One line out. No prefixes. Final choice. Flashback. Minaris' mom reassures her that saving her friend was the right move, but Minaris still doubts her. Silence shatters as Mom screams for Minaris to wake up and get over here, snapping her out of her daze. Minaris kneels in the village square under the town's icy stairs, her mother looking just as lost. Is this her punishment for entering the forbidden forest? Dread sinks in as a one-eyed elder demands the truth. Are she and her mother? Bunny Beastman. Minaris panics. Their secret is out. Panic hits, and her mother's rabbit ears sprout Minaris screams, but they glow and vanish. Minaris is stunned. Her mother can hide her true form. The crowd whispers, confirming the truth. Minaris watches her mom look back at her and Maurice. Why is she being judged, too? The elder's icy, one-eyed glare sends Minaris into a terrified shudder. He confirms Lucia told the truth. The name hits Minaris like a physical blow, and the stunned villagers wonder if it's all a sick joke. She spots Lucia with Carol pure betrayal. Minaris screams about their promise, but Carol sneers, calling her trash. As he vows to protect Lucia, Minaris's mother collapses, begging the crowd for mercy. Carol corners her, ignoring her confusion and claiming Lucia exposed her for using beastman powers to bully her into silence. As Carol blames her for Lucia's tears, Minaris's mother begs the elder to. The elder slams her mother down, roaring at the dirty beast. Minaris screams in horror while Lucia smirks, mocking the disgusting animal people they've played for fools. Harold joins the mob, screaming for the beastmen to leave below. Minaris's sister Maurice cries in agony as the betrayal shatters Minaris's heart. Maurice wails in confusion until the truth hits. She's been betrayed. Her mother desperately tries to silence her, begging her to. Shocked villagers swarm the scene, and right in the middle stands Minaris's own father. He sees his family surrounded and doomed. Maurice screams through tears as he lets out a desperate, agonized cry of denial. Denial turns to fury. He disowns Maurice, screaming she's a filthy beast man who deceived him. He blames her mother for the lie, leaving Maurice staring back in total heartbreak. Minaris's world went numb. Sold into slavery, her senses vanished. While the traitor mocked his cheap beastman stock, she drifted into a total sensory void. A brutal kick sends her mother sprawling. The traitor walks off, leaving Minaris screaming for her to wake up while the crowd whispers at the pathetic scene. He returns, annoyed he might have broken her. He curses his luck. Her mother's dead and he lost a fortune on beastman bets. Minaris kneels by her sister, consumed by guilt as darkness creeps into her heart. Her world shattered. Cursing her twisted life, a dark urge took root. A raw need to destroy everything and hate them all. The traitor snaps at her for dazing off, but his voice is lost in her mental storm, a violent urge to kill, crush, and burn everything. Defiance earned her the whip. The traitor screamed, calling her a lowly animal who must obey. Right then, Minaris vowed to never submit again. Torture or starvation. She's fighting back. Her hatred burned too deep to forgive. Back in reality, Yuki Kaido gripped her chin. He was just another noble with a sick fetish, but his eyes were breathtaking. Deep in famine hell, Kaido faces a bound, rabbit-eared girl and asks one question: who does she want revenge on? Sponce snaps in denial, eyes wide with rage. Kaido smirks, asking if killing them is all she wants. Her rage boils over. Death is too good. She wants them tortured and torn apart piece by piece. Kaido smiles at her bloodlust and offers two choices. 1. Become his slave. Rin rejects their desires, urging her to embrace vengeance as his accomplice. He lists her targets: her father, the village, the slavers, and even her best friend. He summons the holy sword of vengeance, binding them as comrades who can't quit their revenge. Now she'll hate his targets as much as he does, forcing their wills to align. He accepts her feelings, but this isn't just talk. It's a binding contract that stops them from hurting each other, telling her to trust him. He touches the dark orb and seals the... She grins, offering to be his accomplice to make his revenge even sweeter. He agrees, noting that breaking enemies is a two-person job. Now free, she asks the ultimate question. She hates basic killers and asks if Kaido's different. Silence breaks into laughter as she realizes they'll cause way more despair together. Grinning wildly, she accepts. He's her new accomplice. Decision made. No more talk. Her revenge burns forever, and she's never going back to that fake peace. She's done with the sickening hell she endured. He tells her to take the sword. Dark energy coils around her arm as she grabs it. He's Yukai Kaito, and she's Minaris. They seal the pact. Kaito calls her his little accomplice, and a devoted Minaris calls him her accomplice master. Bound by blood and revenge, Minaris strikes, slaughtering her targets and spraying blood across the cards that marked them for death. Amidst the ruins, Minaris finally sees the truth. Kaido's obsession for revenge mirrors her own. Kaido eyes a caged, terrified man, finally grasping their bond-shared revenge. Even without a personal betrayal, he feels Minaris' burning hatred as his own. The system confirms the deal. Minaris is now his Avenger servant. The bunny girl is hyped, awestruck by the sword's god-tier power and her new potential. Minaris locks in, teasing Kaido to rest while she handles the work. Driven by revenge, she vows to hunt the escaped traitor immediately, and Kaido gives her the green light to gear. A nearby cage reveals the traitor's cruelty, packed with captives huddled in total despair. Kaido reviews Minaris' stats, confirming her elite beastman power, illusion magic, and pain resistance. While cooking, she mentions bringing the other prisoner, and Kaido calmly nods. She finishes the meal but suddenly stumbles. Dizzy, Kaido explains she's out of mana and tells her to chug the MP potion. She claims she isn't hungry, but Kaido's sick of her manic energy. He shuts her up and forces the potion to her lips. The potion hits, she sighs, and teases her master recharged. She serves a massive feast, but Kaido snaps, demanding the main course now. He watches Minaris step forward, bare feet hitting the cold floor. It's time. She serves her homemade feast, telling the target to dig in. When they hesitate, she smiles and suggests bringing the man over to taste test, catching Kaido off guard. Dark aura flares as she triggers Poison Demon's illusion flame, commanding it to delude and devour. Instantly, the man recoils, screaming and begging for mercy. While he writhes, Minaris tells Kaido why, during their journey, this guy looked at her and her. Please turn to primal screams as his mind snaps for one thing: food. He stuffs his face like an animal. Minaris smirks. The poison is stronger than expected. Dosage is tricky, so she decides to drug every other prisoner too. The dark illusion consumes the captives, turning them into shadows. Now starving, they crawl forward, groaning for food. Driven by magical hunger, the captives clawed at a fake feast, losing their humanity as they gorged on phantom food while Minaris watched blankly. She grins at their suffering, goading them to be more pathetic. Leaning in, she whispers that he's even more pitiful than her own mother. Her hand morphs into a monstrous claw as she wills his total breakdown. He screams as his arm swells and twists, the illusion warping his flesh. Inside the cell, starving captives crawl and gorge. A green monster hand forces food down a blonde man's throat as a horned woman smiles, telling them to eat their fill. Grinning sadistically at their misery, she asks how it feels to be lower than the beastmen they once hated, demanding they describe their pathetic state. The captives are too obsessed to talk. Suddenly they convulse in agony, clutching their guts and retching, but they can stop eating. Giggling, the horned woman reveals that eating turns them into goblins. One captive's leg turns scaly green, while another grovels for the bread she tauntingly dangles. One man fully transforms into a gross green goblin, clawing his skin and groaning while frantically stuffing his face. Smirking at the goblin, she reveals her food's dark secret in large doses. It's a lethal poison. She mocks them as the meal they crave starts killing them from the inside. Clapping her hands, she fakes shock at his transformation. Glad they liked the meal, she mocks them, asking if they can still speak human or just groan like goblins. Cackling madly, she screams for them to die pathetically. This is payback for her mother and inescapable hell. They can't fight. She laughs maniacally as the new goblins writhe, leaning in to savor their agonizing end. From his cell, Kaido laughs at Minaris' brutal work. She starves them, then feeds them a lethal mix of transformation and killing poisons. He definitely picked the right partner. The last monster falls. Looking peaceful, she clasps her hands and whispers that her mother is finally avenged. She calls Kaido master, thanking him for the sweet revenge, but he just says it's time to leave. He tells her not to worry. Their bond isn't shallow. They're accomplices, united by revenge. She stares him down, resolute. He's right, but he's the master who gave her the shot at avenging her mother. She once waited for death, fueled by a hatred she couldn't control. But after opening up to her master, she finally owns her thirst for revenge. Struck by the truth, she offers him her body, heart, and life, everything but her revenge. That She begs him to claim as his own. Flustered by her intensity, he backed off and told her to chill. He figured her beastman instincts were haywire from mana drain and she'd recover soon, so he bailed. His face hardens, vowing their revenge is just beginning. She grins manically, promising to go even harder next time he's terrified, fearing she'll never return to normal and dreading the nightmare of handling her. They head down a grimy alley as two locals eye them curiously. He asks if she can hide her ears and tail. She nods, using her restored mana to cast an illusion. Minaris calmly brushes her hair as magic glows, dissolving her long rabbit ears into light. Silent casting. He's impressed. Minaris asks if her ears are hidden, and he confirms the illusion is perfect. Draft. Still curious, he snatched her head, catching Minaris off guard as she shrieked. One more check. His curiosity, however, was not yet sated. He sinks his fingers into her hair, stunned by the rabbit-soft fluff, while Minaris fidgets with a soft whimper of distress. He keeps stroking her hair, making her face flush, clenching her fists. She begs him to stop doing this in public. Ripley snaps out of it, jerking his hand back with a panicked apology. He blames his curiosity, but a blushing Minaris doesn't seem to mind. Killing the awkward silence, he clears his throat and finally reveals their next move. Looking serious, he told Minaris they were leaving today. The sudden news left her stunned, clutching her tunic in shock. The capital escape starts now. Minaris, still in her tunic, is shocked by the sudden rush. Taito's too weak to wait, so they're leaving today. Since she saw his hit list through their link, he asks exactly how much of his memory she witnessed. Shocked, she asks if he's a ghost or a world enemy after seeing his death. Kaido cuts the talk. They need supplies and have to leave now. Minaris agrees. She smiles, resolve set. His target's dawn to matter. She's all in to help him turn their enemies' lives into a living hell. He's stunned. She's so chill about him targeting the royals. Since he's leaving tonight anyway, there's no need to rush. He apologizes for the big ask, but a flustered Minaris beams, thrilled her master chose her as his accomplice. Kaido sees she's finally sober and drops the plan. Find low-key clothes, then grab food, weapons, and travel gear. He finalized the plan, but Minaris pointed at the massive gate. How do they escape once the main exit locks for the night? He brushes off her fear they aren't using the gate. He points to a weak spot in the wall that'll crumble silently with a tap, leaving Minaris completely baffled. Later in town, Minaris clutches her new dress, worried it's too much. He just shrugs. It was cheap. He calls her pretty, warning that looking like a slave will attract dangerous thugs and arrogant nobles. The direct compliment hits hard. She turns beet red, eyes wide in flustered shock. He catches her stammering and asks what's wrong. Minaris hides her embarrassment, blaming dizziness on their post-goblin level up, making him worry if she's feeling strange again. She smiles and says she's fine, but her flushed face and shy vibe give her away. He decides if she's not better tomorrow, he's forcing her to take medicine. He hands Minaris a vial and tells her to drink up. It's a potion to kill her dizziness. Minaris refuses the pricey potion, but Kaido snaps, grabs her, and forces her to drink. She obeys, and now Kaido's focus shifts to finding her a weapon. He asks about her weapon skills, noting beastman magic is lethal up close. Minaris shyly admits she only learned by sparring with passing adventurers. She apologizes for her weakness, but he brushes it off. He didn't pick her for strength. He needs an accomplice. Relieved, they head to a weapon shop since he already has a spirit sword. They find a weapon shop, but the clerk says they are closing. Inside, an old man barks to kick them out. Kaido steps forward, promising a quick deal. The fed-up shopkeeper demands their order so he can close, and Kaido requests 2 beginner armor sets and 4 toolkits. As he turns to leave, Kaido drops one last demand: 10 mass-produced swords, sheaths included. He waits at the counter as the shopkeeper's son confirms the order. The kid's flustered, scrambling to get everything ready. A young clerk fumbles coin math, making his father snap. The owner strikes his son, calling him useless and demanding he finish the sale while Kaido watches, visibly pained. Flashback to a quiet moment with Princess Elysia. She asks about the weapon shop owner and his son, and he confirms they've definitely got dwarf blood. She smirks, catching his drift. Her smile twists into pure disgust, mocking the monsters playing human in her kingdom. Kaido clutches his head as memories of the dwarves and those families resurface. Blood-soaked and smiling, she thanks the hero for flushing out the kingdom's trash, while a wounded Kaido watches in horror. Kaido snaps back, ignoring the kid to focus on Minaris. Seeing her struggle with the armor, he steps in to help her gear up. He straps up Minaris' new armor, letting out a flustered squeak. The shopkeeper's dad gives Kaido a thumbs up, calling him a good kid. Kaido snaps, telling the pervert to shut up. He apologizes to Minaris. Then the shopkeeper's dad stops him to offer some advice as his own apology. The old man cryptically warns of an antidote price spike, telling Kaido to stock up. Kaido's confused but agrees, and his father tells him to never forget. Leaving, Kaido turns serious and apologizes for the first cycle. The father is stunned, but Kaido brushes it off as talking to himself as they say their goodbyes. Outside, Minaris offers to carry the gear, but Kaido refuses to keep her slave status hidden. They're accomplices and equals. Now gear ready, they head straight for the town. A dark smirk forms as he eyes the border slums. Out there, people are so desperate they'll betray anyone for a payday. He leads Minaris to the town wall, but she's confused. Where's the hole? He tells her to wait. He's about to reveal it. He explains the wall's standard ones regen and stay tough, but capital walls like this also absorb impact and tank magic damage. The magic comes from a starlight stone that drinks mana from the air. Pull it, and the wall turns back to plain rock. He kneels, touching the surface. The stone shatters at his touch, revealing a squirming mass of pale maggots. Minaris asks if they are eating the wall. He confirms they're all eaters, a magic-eating subspecies that melts mana minerals with mucus to breed, leaving nothing but dust. The creatures ate the starlight stone, making the wall easy to shatter. They're actually a brand new, unnamed species. Minaris looks away from the writhing mass in disgust. Kaido sweats, realizing the sight was too much for her. He recoils as a twisted Minaris asks if the monsters melt flesh, imagining the fun of watching someone suffer in a pit of them. Squatting by the wall, she finds simple maggots boring, preferring to rot the flesh slowly so the victim feels them eating from the inside out. Smiling chillingly, she scrapes maggots from their flesh to show the swarm breeding inside. Kaido shuts her down, revealing the creatures can eat flesh, but since they feed on mana, they can breed inside a living host. They clear the breach into the snow. Minaris offers help, but Kaido's sealing the hole with someone else first. He planks the hole as Minaris asks about using illusions, but he warns the spell only lasts a day if he leaves the area. Planks set. He assures Minaris the locals are too busy surviving to notice a minor fix like this. He spots strange white grubs among the coins and vials one for later, while Minaris watches silently from behind. Entrance hidden, task done. He orders them deeper into the forest to an abandoned cabin, and Minaris eagerly obeys. Walking through the woods, Kaido tells Minaris to recover her strength and prep at the shed ahead. He calls her an idiot for fighting at half power. Her beauty is a waste, and he knows a pretty face is a lethal edge in battle or deals. She blushes, telling him flattery is useless. She's his slave and has to obey him regardless. Grace blushes, then looks confused, asking what a sleazebag is. Startled, he said it out loud. Kaido awkwardly explains it's a sleazy guy. He sighs at the moon, wondering how to explain sleazy to her. They reach the cabin, and he swings open the door to a dusty, cobweb-filled wreck. It's a total dump, and they'll have to clean it top to bottom before. Cleaning finished, the place is spotless. Brooms in hand, Kaido and Minaris agree. It's looking much better. She hands Minaris a drink and tells her to rest. Surprised, Minaris agrees once he reassures her she's safe and needs the sleep. He demands breakfast before she sleeps. She agrees, and morning kicks off with a goblin's death shriek. Standing over a pile of dead monsters, he wipes his brow and calls it a day. Back at the shed, he tells Minaris they're refining their revenge. Their old bond was just a fraction of the truth. To get the full picture, he asks for her story. Minaris steels herself and begins to reveal her past. His fists clench as she finishes. He's speechless, overwhelmed by her pain and his own mounting rage. He realized pity was just mockery to the woman she'd become. He stood by her, their goals aligned. Her revenge was now his. With new resolve, he ditched the self-pity. He turned to Minaris, declaring it was finally his turn to reveal his past. He reveals the truth. He's a summoned hero from another world, and his journey began inside the castle. Minaris couldn't grasp the idea of a past life. She felt Kaido's rage through their link, but lacked the context. He knew he'd have to explain his story, several. She finally gets it. Looking up, she calls him Master. Minaris vows they'll give it their all, and Kaido locks in his resolve. He blitzed through the forest, a dark blur. A charged upward slash rips through the tusked beast, making it squeal as the blade bites deep. One final slash decapitates the beast, silencing its cry as blood paints the forest floor. Try. The beast falls and a screen pops up. He sighs in relief. His XP finally cleared 3,000, hitting a total of 3,225. Elysia's knights were weak posers, but real veterans would crush him. He needed to level up or unlock a new CEO, but that 20,000-point price. He skips the level up, eyeing the Holy Sword of Vengeance 3,000 XP to unseal the 8-eyed clear origin blade. Light flashes as the 8-eyed clear origin blade appears. This combat knife appraises targets, revealing exclusive info only it can see. He checks his new blade, then taps his wrist to pull up a digital record. The device shows a goblin bestiary. He's relieved his past life data survived. Confirmed, he raises the blade and a screen flashes to life. He opens his status, keeping his blade summoned and ready for action. The screen flashed his stats and he locked onto one-word appraisal. Powers confirmed, he heads for a house, realizing his broken level 1 stats come from his past life titles. A brown-haired woman scolds him for leaving bed, but he's fully healed. Minaris arrives, and he immediately triggers his new appraisal skill on her. Appraisal check. Her debility is gone and she's fully healed. Beastman blood really speeds up recovery. He mistakes it for a status board, but Minaris clarifies it's a data board hidden stats visible only through his 8-eyed clear origin blade. Dinner's ready. She serves hot soup and a spoon. He's confused he only owns forks. Minaris crafted it herself to help. He accepts, admiring the meal. He praises the spoon's handiness, but Minaris calls it a failure and vows to remake it. Since these crafts are her village's winter lifeline, she's just doing. He tastes the soup as she watches, then looks her in the eye to tell her she's an amazing cook. She's glad he liked the meal, and Kaido thanks her. Suddenly, she asks about his greeting, recognizing it as from his old world. He pauses thinking, as Minaris softly asks if he ever plans to return to his old world. He tells her not to worry, and Minaris chuckles. He vows to stay until his revenge is complete. Even with a way home, he's not leaving Minaris. Hears this and finally relaxes. The grim truth hits, there's no turning back, and he's broken beyond repair. Minaris starts clearing the table, but Kaido stops her. Chores can wait until their revenge is complete. He grabs the bowl, telling her to forget chores. They need to focus on one thing, getting stronger. He asks if she's even listening. Minaris just beams, insisting she'll handle the dishes. She grins, punctuating every word, "Master, I'll tidy them myself." She hands him food with a smile. Kaido takes it, blushing as they share a cozy silence. He clears his throat to regain focus. Minaris asks for the plan, reminding him they've got a busy 10 days ahead. Arms crossed, he gives a simple yup. They're diving into a hidden dungeon to slaughter every monster inside. Minaris is stunned every single one. That night, from their separate beds, she finally said yes to his demanding plan. He sits up, cup in hand, telling her to get ready for bed. He finally confesses he's a summoned hero, but she's already out cold and snoring. Her sleep is a nightmare. She groans, face twisting as a dark memory surfaces, making her feel physically sick. Kido reels from the ultimate betrayal. Elysia used him as a lab rat. The guildmaster wants him dead for profit, and even Jiren turned broken and confused. Kido. Betrayed and broken, he fled. His friends and kingdom turned on him in an instant, and he couldn't understand why they didn't believe him. Through the pain, one vow kept him going, his promise to get the demon lord back to her family. He promised, but then the brutal truth hit. The hero ritual needed massive mana, and he'd killed her just to fuel the spell. As she faded away, she told him she didn't. Her final moments haunt him in the woods. Stubborn to her last breath, she's gone and he blames himself for failing her. Gasping and frustrated, he curses his luck stuck outside the capital after all this work. Suddenly, the bushes rustle. "Who's there?" he barks. A man and woman jump from the bushes, apologizing for the scare. The woman recognizes him instantly, asking if he's the hero from the Wall Eater incident. They approach the hooded figure. The man asks for help entering the kingdom. Yuki recognizes them and glares, demanding answers. He relaxes, explaining they just want to say thanks for saving their lives. The woman jumps in, offering to handle everything. Stunned by their kindness, Kaido realizes good people still exist and agrees to trust them. Next day, rumors fly through the crowded tavern. Kaido overhears men confirming the hero's dark past, claiming he staged the slum riot just to provoke the king. Sipping his drink, Kaido hears a patron call slum dwellers trash fit for slavery. He fumes. No matter the country, these lies follow him everywhere. Forced to use the Amanojaku's mirror sword to swap genders just to step outside, he wonders how it came to this until two guys approach, mistaking him for a girl. He stops dead in the wet alley, cloak snapping he's being followed. He faces his pursuer in the rain, demanding to know what they want. The figure stays silent. Kaido glares. They're doing this the hard way. A sudden splash kicks off the fight. Two cloaked men step from the shadows, nervously asking if he's the hero they're looking for. He blurs forward, blade to the man's throat, coldly demanding how they found him and where they got their intel. The terrified messengers beg Kaido to stop, claiming Princess Elysian sent them to find a hero lookalike. The hostage swears she never betrayed him, but Kaido's suspicious why does the kingdom. Blade steady, he listens as the messenger begs Princess Elysia only wants to keep her promise and send the hero home. That's why she risked sending them to find her. The messenger reveals they only backed the Saintess for safety. The princess never approved, and since the royals hold the secret summoning ritual, Kaido needs her help to get home. He locked eyes, promising everything would be fine and that they were on his side. He's suspicious. Can he trust them? The messenger begs for belief, arguing they found him too fast to be faking, while another adds that Princess Elysia has been worried since the messenger invites him to meet the princess at their hideout. Kaido stays silent, weighing his options from beneath his hood. Silence breaks. Kaido drops his blade with a simple fine, ordering the relieved messenger back to the summoning room. The messenger reveals the planned teleport to the hideout and wait for the ritual to go home. But Kaido must stay low. Everyone's hunting him. Flanked by hooded figures, he marches through the rain. He skips the thanks to keep his hosts safe and follows. He asks why they're skipping the palace, but the messenger reveals a secret shortcut straight to their goal. The group stops in a clearing. The guide announces their arrival. Ahead, a wooden plank sits in the mud with... The messenger lifts the rattling plank, revealing a dark opening. The messenger turns to Kaido, face half hidden, warning the hero to watch his step. The guide led them down rough stone stairs, his candle lighting the way into the earth. Kaido followed, bracing against the damp stone before entering the hidden tunnel. He pulls himself from the tunnel onto the stone floor. A girl in an elegant dress greets him with open arms, shouting, "Brave hero, I'm so glad you're safe." Elysia asks if Kaido's hurt, but he's fine. She recognized him as the hero instantly thanks to his Amanojiko mirror sword, even with his new look. He sighs in relief, sweat trickling down. He really thought she'd strike without warning. Alicia holds out a glowing crystal. No time for questions. Take the teleportation stone. He accepts. She orders him to move fast, promising the hero ritual details upon arrival. Suddenly, a magic circle ignites beneath him as she clenches her fist. Her gentle look twists into a mocking smirk. She chuckles cruelly, hand to chin, eyes glinting with malice. Kaido freezes in horror as a dark aura swirls around the floating princess. She sneers. Really? How stupid can you be? He gaped in shock as Elysia looked down with cold disdain, her warmth totally gone. Princess Elysia smirks, mocking Kaido's stupidity. His eyes widen as a blade flashes down at lethal speed. He snaps his dark blade up to block steel clashes, sending sparks flying. Blown back, he parries the barrage of steel before sliding away to reset the distance. Catching his breath, he looks up in shock to find a line of soldiers, swords drawn and aimed right at him. He scans their faces, horror dawning. He tries to speak, but his voice trembles, leaving his questions unfinished. Elysia cuts in, sighing that she hates skilled idiots. Kaido screams betrayal, but she scoffs. They were never allies to begin with. She sneers, calling him repulsive for siding with aliens. Smirking, she drops her act, leaving Kaido paralyzed by her cruelty. Mocking his rat-like resilience, she declares him dead. Teleportation is blocked, the exit is guarded, and escape is impossible. Smirking, she reveals she's tracked him since he arrived. She calls him a fool, explaining how the slum thugs played him so easily. He's left stunned. He remembers the villagers he saved, but Elysia reveals their loyalty cost only 2 gold coins. Betrayal hits hard, twisting his face in rage. He curses his own stupidity. How did he miss the trap? The villagers and messengers found him in just 2 days. This is the price of his naivety. He snaps back, demanding why she wants him dead. Elysia smirks, asking if he's stalling, then decides to play along. He was a useful pawn, after all. She warns that the Demon Lord's Slayer is a threat who could rally the people and spark a revolution. He's stunned by her cold logic. She claims the public needs to vent their rage before revealing the chilling truth, the same reason she sacrificed her own parents. Her face twists in revulsion as she reveals the truth she refuses to accept his very existence. She screams in pure loathing, disgusted that an alien monster would mimic her human form and speech, calling him more revolting than any demi-human or beast folk. She grabs his chin, eyes wide and manic, demanding to know how hard she fought not to puke in his presence. Her rage flips to a bright smile. It's fine, he's dying today anyway. Now she'll keep her promise and send him back to his world. She glows, swearing she's telling the truth while he stares back in total shock. She casts Prayer's vow, swearing on her arms to tell the absolute truth about the hero's summoning and reverse rituals. Vow complete. She demands a talk, leaving Kaido stunned. Why risk a sacred vow just for honesty? She explains, summoning is simple with the right sacrifices. Anyone can do it. She demands the final ritual step. Kaido grips his dagger, stunned. They have the circle and the mana, but the third piece, the sacrifice, is a total mystery. Mocking his confusion, she explains humans can't trigger god-tier magic alone. It takes 4 steps. Rip a hole here, open one in another world, bridge them, and pull the target. He asks about the other offerings. She explains, mana is just a catalyst. You need bait for the target. Seeing his confusion, she drops a cruel hint. Dread hits Kaido as she whispers the truth. 200 lives sacrificed at the ritual site. Kaido reels, his eye widening in pure horror. He's reeling, but she just smirks, reminding him they sacrificed 200 beast folk and slaves to open that portal. Her words crush him to his knees. Trembling, she looms over him, demanding the price of the portal connecting their worlds. Think back who was there the moment he... Her question sparks a flashback, a normal school day, laughing with friends. The building haunts him as her final words echo, who was sacrificed to open the hole in his world. He stares in shock, muttering in denial, but Elysia calmly reminds him she can't lie. She spreads her arms, using their survival as bizarre proof of her honesty. She drops the brutal truth. 200 lives were sacrificed to bring him here. The words hit like a physical blow, and he grits his teeth in agony. Agony turns to rage. He lunges with a roar, but a heavy boot slams down, blocking his path. Thorny vines erupt, pinning him to his knees. He vows to kill her, but Elysia just giggles. He stops, demanding to know who was sacrificed for the world tunnel. Elysia explains that the space between worlds is a god's domain deadly to mortals, but the source of ultimate power. To survive the crossing, he needs a protective tunnel made. Realizing the horror, he screams for her to stop, but she ignores him, grinning as she prepares a demonstration. Your family? Kaido's world shatters. He stares in horror as the unthinkable truth finally crashes down. He stammers, praying it's a lie, but Elysia grins upside down and confirms the nightmare they're all dead. His family and friends were the sacrifices needed to summon him to this world. The truth shatters him. He screams silently, reeling from her broken promise. She swore his family would return. Dad, Mom, Swahiko, Kenayuto, Mr. O, but they're all gone. Why? Elysia laughs at Kaido's despair, savoring the agony she's waited so long to see. She mocks his dream of returning home, and as he collapses, she delivers the final. Elysia mocks the bound Yuki, sneering at his dream of returning home. She crushes him with a cold truth. His family is dead, and his wish is pathetic. She mocks his home with a sadistic grin, admitting she nearly laughed. Kaido grits his teeth and begs her to stop. She mocks his plea to go home, parroting his words with a sneer. She asks how she did, savoring his pained silence as he looks away. Her face twists with malice as she dares him to go home, suggesting a sick way back by forcing himself on a beastman. She vows to slaughter his future children, calling them other-world monsters. Barbed chains crush Kaido as he screams her name in pure horror. Barbs sink into his flesh, dropping him to his knees. He screams as guards surround him, and Lauren orders them to open fire. Energy blasts Kaido's chest. Enraged, he summons a sword, tosses a guard aside, and roars for them to move. Guards swarm him as a sadistic Princess Elysia shrieks for his head. Arrows slam into his back instantly, forcing him to his knees with a pained gasp. He kneels as the princess mocks his trash senses, calling him an idiot for falling for a basic illusion before smugly declaring it's game over. For his dance, she grants him the honor of dying by her own hands. Hands splayed, he pressed into the cold stone, propping up his shaking frame. Desperate, Kaido makes a final plea, offering her anything she wants, even half the world. Her offer triggers a memory of a woman begging him to stay, ring in hand. He rejected her, and now he wonders if this agony is punishment for the promise that cost her life. He had one regret: he should have grabbed that dark core from the very beginning. Elysia loomed over him, dagger raised, grinning like a maniac. She cursed the otherworldly monster and ordered him to die. As her blade falls, he snaps, lunging forward to snatch an item at blinding speed. The princess gasps in shock. He snatched the demon core, sending it flying as the massive crystal prison shattered and unleashed its power. Flaming tiger guardians roar from the wreckage, panicking the guards. Elysia freezes as Kaido realizes the demon core resurrected them, forcing Lauren to instantly form a defensive line to protect the princess. He bolts through the chaos. Lauren stares in shock, screaming that the hero is escaping. Using divine feet and skywalk, he's a blur Lauren can't keep up, screaming for him to stop, stunned by his impossible speed. He bolts, leaving Elysia and her guards to fight the resurrected guardians as she orders his capture. Sweating, he looks back. One step out means no return, and the fear of death shatters his resolve. Blood streams down his face as he vows revenge, ready to throw his life away. Elysia smirks cruelly, clutching the demon core and swearing she'll never forgive him. She crushes the core, erupting with power, blasting a firebird and lightning flower combo. She orders her guards to scatter the attack. Magic blasts Kaido back from the door. He screams in pain, but the princess shouts, he's not escaping. Kaito doesn't fall. He glows. A transfer circle appears and he starts to vanish. Elysia's smug face turns to shock as she screams for him to wait. Blinding light erupts as the circle triggers, ripping through space with a sharp ring. Light flares, sucking everything into a point before erupting. A hand bursts through the glow, punching into a new world as light shatters the forest canopy. Kaido collapses in the rain. He struggles up, eyes weary, knowing he needs to heal immediately. Hunched in the rain, he checks his stats. He's out of MP and overexerted. Healing is off the table for now. He stumbles up, bracing against a tree as the cold truth hits his allies were enemies from the start. Sighing, he steps into the mud and treks through the rainy wild, destination unknown. Standing in the rain, a pained, mocking smirk forms as a strange feeling surfaces that he can't explain. Questions haunt his empty mind. What's his purpose? Why even survive? He has no answers. A memory flashes a frilly dress and a soft voice echoing his own confusion. A memory forms a dark-haired girl. Her smile shatters his despair, reminding him to live so that when he dies, he leaves nothing undone. Her words steel his heart. Teeth clenched, fire returns to his eyes as he marches through the wet grass. He lost his reason to live but realized he just couldn't die. He pushes through the storm for her. She's why he loves this world, and he won't stop now. If he dies a quitter, he can't stand by her side. He pushes through the downpour, hand gripping the wood. This is his only reason to keep moving. Tears stream as he clutches his cloak, sobbing apologies. He failed Letitia. He broke his promise.